Welcome to a different kind of journey, one meant for the souls who carry the fire of Aries. Tonight, I want you to pause for a moment and listen to what the universe is trying to tell you. Not through words, but through the quiet changes already unfolding, soft as a breath, yet powerful enough to shift everything you thought would stay the same. Sometimes, right before a new chapter begins, life falls strangely silent. And in that silence, the universe whispers it's time to step forward, time to believe, even if your legs still tremble. Now, let me tell you a story. A story about the moment destiny gently touches your shoulder and calls you by the true name of your soul. And as you listen, you'll begin to understand some warnings aren't meant to frighten us. They're meant to remind us that the time has come to return to the path that was always ours. Aries, let your heart be still for a moment. In that silence, you'll hear what the mind often misses, the faint whisper of destiny. It doesn't strike like thunder. It doesn't arrive in chaos or noise. It comes in quiet nights, when you lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel empty, even when everything seems fine. That's the first sign of a new chapter, when the soul starts knocking on the door, not to take something away, but to awaken the light inside you, the part that's been buried under habits, duties, and bonds that have already served their time. The time to stay where you are has ended, not because you failed, but because your role in that story is complete. Some lands only bloom for one season, and then we must move on to plant seeds elsewhere. Look at the fire you carry within. It never dies. It simply changes form. This departure, Aries, is not a loss. It's a sacred ritual. Every awakened soul must walk through such thresholds, where the old collapses so the true self can be born. The universe isn't punishing you. It's simply making sure you don't fall asleep in comfort. It pushes you out of the nest because it knows your wings are ready to fly. And you'll see, leaving is never just a physical act. It's a movement of consciousness, from fear to faith, from attachment to gratitude. It might hurt. The ego fears emptiness, but it's in that emptiness that the seed of freedom begins to grow. Have you ever seen a sunrise right after a storm? The sky still holds the scent of night, yet far away, a thin line of light touches the sea. That is the moment the universe wants you to feel tonight, the turning of your soul toward a new horizon. You may not feel ready. No one ever really is. But like the waves out there, even when they don't know where they'll land, they keep moving, because the nature of water is to flow, and your nature, Aries, is to move forward. The world needs souls like you, those who dare to walk even when the path is unseen, those who still choose faith even after being broken. Because every step you take lights the way for someone else still trapped in their own darkness. And one day, quietly, you'll realize you've already left, not the place, but the limits that held you. You'll feel lighter like the wind, brighter like dawn, and peaceful like the ocean after the storm. That's when you'll understand. An ending is never the final note. It's the pause before a new melody begins. And as your breath syncs with the rhythm of the earth, you'll start to see the first signs of a path opening ahead, where the familiar fades away, making room for everything you've never seen before. Let your heart lead you there. Because at the end of this warning, the universe is sending you its most delicate signs, tiny yet powerful, like the first stars breaking through the night sky, announcing the dawn of a brand new journey. There are mornings when you wake up, and something feels unfamiliar in your own life. Everything looks the same room, the same smell of coffee, the same road to work, yet something inside you has quietly shifted. A part of you no longer responds to the things that once sparked excitement. The laughter that used to warm your heart now fades like an echo. Even the sunlight coming through the window seems to touch a soul that's turning, searching for a new direction. It isn't random. That's how the universe whispers, reminding you that your soul is craving to breathe, deeper, wider. Sometimes silence is the loudest message of all. When you no longer feel like you belong to a place, a role, a relationship, it doesn't mean you're lost. It simply means the old path has fulfilled its purpose. I've been there myself. Those days when you look around and realize you're living inside yesterday's pattern. There's a sadness, light as mist, no name, no clear reason. You try to hold on to what feels familiar, to reignite the flame in a room that has gone cold, but nothing can keep the light that has chosen to leave. Only when I dared to let go did life begin to flow again. The real pain isn't in leaving, it's in staying too long where the soul no longer blooms. Sometimes the way God protects us isn't by giving, but by taking away what we no longer need, even when our hearts aren't ready to admit it. Every loss, if you look closely, is a blessing disguised as a trial. You might be asking yourself, if I leave, where will I go? The answer isn't out there. It's been waiting inside you in the voice of your soul, the one you can only hear when you're quiet enough to listen. The universe never takes away anything that still helps you grow. It only removes what keeps you from becoming who you were always meant to be. Life has a strange rhythm. The moment you stop trying to hold on, everything begins to fall into place. Those meant to go will go. Those meant to stay will stay. And you, even while carrying the waves of confusion inside, will start to feel a new kind of peace. It's the peace of someone who knows they're walking in the right direction, even if the destination is still unseen. Sometimes the signs appear softly in a dream that feels too real, in a random encounter, in a song that plays at the exact right moment, or in that lump in your throat when you stand before something that once made you happy. They're subtle, easy to overlook, but if you stop and feel, you'll know you're being guided. Life has never been random. Everything that arrives and departs is part of the universe's grand symphony, where every low note prepares you for a new melody. When you feel empty, understand it isn't absence. It's space being cleared so that light can enter. Maybe this is your invitation to step out of the familiar, to leave behind what no longer nourishes you, to let your soul stretch and touch the unknown. No one ever said it would be easy. But peace doesn't come from keeping things the same, it comes from having the courage to follow the quiet pull of your own heart. And if you've ever lived through such a moment, you know every goodbye is, in truth, a homecoming. Not a return to the past, but a return to your essence, the pure part of you that's been waiting behind every role you've played. And once you begin to recognize those signs, you'll feel a powerful energy starting to move within you. Between fear and desire, between nostalgia and hope, a quiet collision begins. It's no longer a battle between you and the world, but a sacred conversation between two parts of yourself, the one that wants to hold on and the one that's finally ready to fly. When those two forces meet, the story moves to a deeper layer, a place where light and shadow coexist, where fear and courage quietly hold hands, and in that silence, your soul will know. Inside every person, there are two currents. One is the call of safety, the comfort of what's familiar, the illusion of control that keeps us anchored. The other is a softer, steadier voice, the one that keeps urging us to step forward toward the light waiting beyond what we know. When those two currents collide, the soul becomes an ocean of hidden waves. It's not a war, it's a transformation. The moment when something deep within begins to shift, when the old identity starts to crumble so the truth can finally emerge. Can you feel it? Lately, something inside you has been restless. It's as if your heart longs to travel far, but your feet are still tied by invisible threads, threads of memory, responsibility, and fear. Like a bird whose wings have healed but still clings to the same branch, staring at the sky it once called home. That tension, that pull between two worlds, it's the very beginning of rebirth. Many have stood where you're standing now. They look around and see a life that seems fine, stable, familiar, but deep down, they feel hollow. They know that if they stay, their soul will wither, and if they go, they'll face the wild winds of change. So they stay somewhere in between. And that, my friend, is the most painful place of all, the space where the soul can neither fly nor rest. It's in moments like this that the universe sends what we call a tower moment, a sudden shake, a collapse, a realization so profound that you simply can't go back to who you were. The tower you built, the one you thought would last forever, begins to tremble, but it doesn't fall to destroy you, it falls to let the air in, to let you see the sky again. The cracks in your walls aren't failures, they're windows proof that light can still find you. I've lived through a collapse like that. At the time, I thought I had lost everything. But when the storm passed, I realized what fell wasn't me. It was the part of me that had expired. What shattered was only the shell. The soul doesn't die, it simply escapes the limits it once mistook for safety. Sometimes, the universe doesn't speak in words, it speaks through collisions. And when everything shakes, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Because no earthquake ever comes without purpose. Every time the ground breaks beneath you, your soul is expanding its borders. Think of the waves at sea. When they crash against the rocks, they burst apart, spraying white foam into the air, but they always return to the ocean. Your soul is the same. This collision won't destroy you. It's just reminding you that you belong to something vast, limitless. Yes, you might be scared. Scared of being alone. Scared no one will understand. Scared of losing what you've built. But think about it, you've survived every storm that once told you you couldn't. That strength is still there, just sleeping. And this tremor you feel today, it's your strength waking up. So let things shake. Let the storm rise, because only then will you know which foundations are real. The earthquake isn't here to ruin you, it's here to help you stop mistaking your walls for freedom. Sometimes, what you call loss is really an invitation, a gentle call from the universe to return to your essence. Losing a job might lead you to your true purpose, a breakup might return you to yourself. Every ending is a door, one that opens into new light. And in the midst of the wreckage, if you can stay quiet enough, you'll hear it, a faint heartbeat beneath the dust. The heartbeat of a soul being reborn. Like a seed breaking through the soil, you'll feel warmth rising from deep within. That's how you know you're ready, even if you don't realize it yet. The world will keep spinning. The walls that fell won't stand again, but you, the one who walked out of the fire, will see beauty you couldn't before. The beauty of fragility, and the strength that lives inside it. When the dust finally settles, everything becomes clear. What needed to fall has fallen. What's meant to stay will stay. And in the quiet that remains, the real lesson appears, not the lesson of the mind, but of the heart. That true freedom begins the moment you face yourself. And then, from the ruins, a faint light flickers, the light of someone who has fallen and still chooses to rise. That light will lead you forward, into the next chapter of your journey, where courage is no longer a word you say, but the very breath your soul takes. Leaving is never an easy choice. It's not as simple as walking away, it's an act that calls for the deepest kind of courage, the courage to face yourself. In that moment, you're not just letting go of a person, a place, or a role. You're releasing everything that once defined who you thought you were. And that is not weakness. There's a truth people rarely talk about. Sometimes, our kindness becomes the very net that traps us. We stay because we fear hurting others. We stay because we fear being misunderstood or feeling guilty. We convince ourselves that sacrifice is proof of love, that endurance equals loyalty. But one day, you look in the mirror and realize the light in your eyes is gone. Leaving in that moment isn't giving up, it's self-rescue. When you choose yourself, you're not betraying anyone, you're simply stopping the betrayal of your own soul. No one else can live your life for you. No one else can carry the quiet exhaustion that has lived in your chest. Only by stepping out can you give others the chance to learn what healthy love truly looks like. This isn't just your story. It's a lesson for all of us. In a world that glorifies patience and sacrifice, we often forget that compassion must begin within. If your heart is running dry, you can't pour love into the world. If your soul is tired, You can't lead anyone out of darkness. I've seen people stay in jobs, relationships, or lives that slowly drained them because they thought leaving was selfish. But the truth is the opposite. Walking away when love no longer helps you grow is one of the most noble things you can do. It frees both souls, giving each the space to rise again into their better selves. Instead of sinking together in quiet pain, something beautiful happens when you finally choose yourself. Everything that once felt like collapse becomes the foundation of something new. You start to see life with gentler eyes. You understand that kindness isn't about enduring, it's about knowing when to stay and when to walk away. The world needs more people brave enough to live honestly, to take the path fewer people choose, the path of truth to oneself. Because every whole soul radiates a healing energy. When you are free, you unconsciously give others permission to be free too. And if you're listening to this and something inside you stirs, know this is not coincidence. Maybe you're too tired to stay, but not yet brave enough to leave. Please remember, you are not alone. Every strong soul has faced this same threshold, the moment between fear and liberation. And only by crossing the bridge of fear do we find the quiet field of peace waiting on the other side. Remember, true love never asks you to shrink just to be accepted. Real love allows you to bloom fully in your own shape. And if a place demands you become smaller to fit, then maybe it's no longer your place. The bravest thing you'll ever do is not staying through pain, but saying goodbye when love no longer helps you grow. Because sometimes, letting go is the highest form of love, loving enough to leave, loving enough to respect both journeys. And someday, in a quiet afternoon, you'll look back and feel peace. Because deep down, you'll know you chose right. Not the easy choice, but the honest one. And from that honesty, a new light begins to bloom. When you let go, the universe will never let you fall. Beyond the edge of fear, there's always a hand waiting, the hand of divine protection, of faith, of unconditional love. Let your soul move toward it, toward that gentle light that's been calling your name all along. Don't be afraid. There are moments in life when it feels like every door closes at once, and you begin to believe you've been left alone in the dark. But in truth, that's when the universe is working most quietly and most deeply. When everything around you falls silent, it's not abandonment, it's alignment. It's when unseen forces begin to move, rearranging the flow of your life, gently guiding you back to the path your soul chose long ago. Divine protection doesn't always come in light and peace. Sometimes, it comes dressed as a storm. Not to scare you, but to wash away everything that no longer belongs to you. Every tear that falls isn't wasted. They're raindrops watering the soil where new seeds will grow. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that every loss was a perfect piece in the design of something far greater, the quiet plan of God. I've always believed that the times we're forced to change are the times the universe loves us the most. Because without those divine pushes, we'd stay inside the cages we built ourselves, safe, but small. Maybe right now, you're caught in life's whirlwind. Everything feels blurry, uncertain. But even inside that chaos, there's an invisible hand leading you forward. Picture a lighthouse on the far edge of the shore. Even when fog hides it, its beam keeps shining steady, unwavering. That's the light of the star on your path. You may not see it, but it never goes out. It waits patiently for the moment you finally lift your head. When the old begins to fade away, your soul starts to hear its true voice again. Maybe you once believed that only others could protect, love, or save you. But every step through the dark teaches you this. The light isn't out there, it's been within you all along. You'll come to realize that God isn't far away in the sky. He's in every breath you take, in a friend's embrace, in the sunlight spilling through your window, in that quiet smile you give, even when your tears haven't yet dried. He speaks through the ordinary, and only when your soul grows still enough can you hear him. If these words stir something inside you, pause for a moment, take a deep breath. Feel it, you are not alone. Those who came before you, the souls who love you, even those you've never met, they're all here, sending you the energy of protection. You may not see them, but they're near, like wind brushing your shoulder, like a soft light resting on your heart. Don't mistake this pain for punishment. It's only life clearing space so something better can enter. Trust that invisible hand, it has never let you go, even when you cried out, even when you fell to your knees and whispered, "Why me?" Because only the strongest souls are chosen for journeys this profound. And if you've ever had to let go of something to find yourself again, share that story, because the light in your story might guide someone else through their night. We don't heal the world only through our words, but through our living proof that we fell, we wept, and still chose to rise, still chose to believe in the light. Then, one morning, you'll wake up lighter, calmer, you'll breathe differently. You'll stop needing to know how it all ends, because faith will be enough to move you forward. Faith that every twist and turn had a purpose, that the universe has never forgotten you, not for a single second. And when you finally trust enough to walk, even without seeing the road ahead, you'll witness something miraculous. The true meaning of loss was never about what you let go of. It was always about what you found again. And that, Aries, is you, the whole, radiant, eternal version of yourself. And that light within you is just beginning to spread. Sometimes, what we call loss is simply another form of returning. When one door closes, we hear its echo as a farewell, but if you listen closely, you'll realize it's also the sound of another door opening, somewhere deeper in your life. Every collapse carries meaning, even when you can't see it yet. What's falling apart around you isn't punishment. It's the old layers shedding, so your soul can breathe again, so it can step back into the light. Everything you've clung to, the job, the relationship, the title, even those long-held beliefs, they were only temporary containers on a longer journey. The universe never takes away what truly belongs to you. It simply changes its form, reshaping it to fit the person you're becoming. The wheel of fortune keeps turning, never by our will, but always on time. And when it does, what seemed lost is often what's returned. But on a higher level, you lose the form, but gain the freedom. You lose a dream, but gain the truth. You lose a companion, but find yourself again. The world teaches us to be strong, to stay in control, to hold our ground, but real strength lies in the opposite. It's not about gripping tightly, it's about knowing when to release. Not about winning, but about recognizing when a battle no longer helps your soul grow. The one who can smile through loss, that person has touched the depth of true wisdom. I once thought strength meant pushing through every challenge, never falling, never breaking. But the further I walked, the more I learned sometimes the strongest thing you can do is to cry, to admit that you no longer have the strength to hold on to what was never meant to stay. Because only when we stop trying to control everything can life carry us to where we truly need to be. If each of us could learn how to walk away without bitterness, the world would be so much lighter. When a person learns to let go with love, they free not only themselves but everyone around them. Resentment is a chain that keeps the soul trapped in shadow, while forgiveness toward others and toward yourself is the light that opens the door to peace. You see, everything in life is temporary but never meaningless. Every person who passes through carries a message. Every event that happens is a mirror reflecting something hidden within us. If you look with the eyes of the soul, you'll see that nothing is out of place. Everything is quietly working to help you evolve, moment by moment. Think back to the times you lost something you once thought you couldn't live without. Yet here you are, breathing, standing, still moving forward. And sometimes you even feel grateful. Because what you thought was loss was actually the universe's way of returning you to yourself. What you lose in form, you gain in freedom. It's a simple truth, yet profoundly real. When the outer forms disappear, the titles, the roles, the positions, you finally see what can never be taken from you, your essence, your inner light. That is freedom, not the freedom of the body, but of the soul. If there's one thing to carry with you after every ending, let it be faith, that life is always fair to the brave. It will remove what no longer serves you, even when you're not ready. And in that emptiness, it will plant a seed of understanding, of compassion, of unconditional love. Trust that every transformation carries its own light. And when you choose to see life through the eyes of gratitude instead of fear, you'll begin to notice the miracle. Nothing truly ends. Every ending is just a beginning wearing a new face. And when you stand in the light of that realization, peace will settle quietly into your heart. You'll stop asking, why? And simply whisper, so that's what it was for. And in that soft moment of surrender, rebirth begins gentle, soundless, like dawn spreading across the sky after the long night. Dawn is coming slow, steady, certain. The first light slips gently through the ashes of yesterday, touching your face like a quiet blessing. Everything is silent, but within that silence, something new is being born. No more weight, no more fear, no more questions of why. Only you remain whole, still, radiant in a way you never imagined you could be. You realize that what once hurt you the most was actually the doorway to freedom. What collapsed didn't come to destroy, but to create the space your soul needed to bloom. Everything that has passed is now just the canvas for a new painting, one you're creating with the colors of understanding, peace, and gratitude. Rebirth doesn't arrive with thunder. It comes in the quiet breath when you start trusting life again. It comes when you smile without knowing what tomorrow will bring, when you forgive what cannot be changed, and when you stop needing to be understood in order to feel at peace. Those small, unspoken moments, they are proof that you've become someone new, someone who no longer runs from the darkness, but carries their own light through it. Now, you no longer have to search for home. Every time you close your eyes, you can hear your heartbeat steady, certain whispering, "You've come home." The flame in your heart is that home, always glowing, always warm, no matter how much the world outside shifts. You don't need a person or a place to hold you anymore, because you've become the safe place you were always seeking. Take a deep breath. Inhale faith. Exhale fear. Every breath is proof you're still here, still choosing to live with your whole heart. The wounds that once bled have turned into lines of light. Every crack in your soul now reflects the sun, the way glass only shines when light passes through it. And when you say these words, let them echo through your being as a vow to the universe and to the person you are becoming. I, Aries, open myself to change and claim my destiny. This isn't just an affirmation, it's a sacred ritual of the soul. When you speak it, the doors of destiny open. No more hesitation, no more doubt, only a peaceful surrender to the rhythm of life. You don't need to know how long the road is, because now you trust every step you take. Yes, the journey ahead will still have its long nights. There will be moments of loneliness, moments when you look up at the sky and feel the ache of quiet longing. But you'll know how to hold your sadness now, to look at it and say, thank you. You are also part of my light. That's the sign of a soul that has matured, one that no longer tries to erase the dark, but makes peace with it. Rebirth isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you truly are, the version of you that was never afraid, never doubtful of your worth. You'll see that you have nothing left to prove. You are enough. You have always been enough. And now, as the morning light spreads across the earth, you know the old journey has ended, softly, completely. Deep within, your soul whispers, I am ready, ready for new beginnings, for new love, for the life that's been waiting to be held by your open hands. Thank you, brave soul, for listening all the way to the end. May you always have enough faith to let go, enough courage to keep walking, and enough love to see the miracle hidden in every ending. The dawn is calling your name. Step forward gently. Life is still waiting for you to live it fully, once more.